Here comes the story of the hurricane. The main authorities that came to blame. Chicle. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hey guys, welcome to Chicle Chat. It's your boy Chicle, and we are back at it again with another Broadway review video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a Broadway review video on Girl from the North Country. Now, before we get started with this review, make sure you guys hit the like button, the subscribe button, and that weird bell. I think it's called the notification bell. Well, anyway, with that being said, let's go! This musical is the reimagining of Bob Dylan's music as it takes place in Duluth, Minnesota in 1934 at a time-weathered guest house. Only a song can shake up the dust for one group of wayward souls, and old dreams may hold the promise of new beginnings. As they pass in and out of each other's lives, the stories awaken with passion, fury, and extraordinary beauty. This original Old Vic production went on West End and now to Broadway, and the show has been written and directed by Connor McPherson. It's at the Glasgow Theatre, and the show will open on March 5th. I figured I would do a little short summary and add clips of the theater to save editing time. Now, let me tell you what I thought about the show, starting with the cast. Let's start with the Lane family, because this mostly revolves around them. I want to personally start with Elizabeth Lane, played by Mare Winningham. Some things you need to know about this character: she has dementia, her husband runs the guest house, and there's a lot of things happening. It makes you want to laugh, makes you want to cry, makes you want to go, oh my gosh, it's so sweet. And I feel like this character, the actress, should get a Tony nomination. I just had to get that out of the way. I think that Mare Winningham's performance deserves that. Next up, we have Nick Lane, played by J.O. Sanders, and I thought he did a really good job for this character. He just has to deal with a lot as an owner, as a husband, and as a father. If you have kids, I would definitely see this show so you can see what it's like to be a dad, I guess. So, yeah. Then we have Gene Lane, played by Colton Ryan. I enjoy this guy a lot. He's one of those people who are like irresponsible and like, couldn't go to a job interview and then like is in love with someone who's moving on and then like has to deal with his mom and his, sister. So, Marianne Lane. Marianne Lane is 19 and she is 5 months pregnant. And she just goes through so much because her dad wants to have her marry off to a very old man so that when he dies, she has all the money and she has a place for her and her child to live. I had to say, Marianne's performance and her singing was just phenomenal. Now I want to talk about the Burkes, because these are people that are just like coming in to the guest house. Mr. and Mrs. Burke, both played by Mark Kudish and Luba Mason. Not only that they're great actors and that there's a lot going on, especially in Act 2, but throughout the show when they're not doing their scenes, one of the two are like at the drum set. Now there are musicians and orchestra players, like a group of orchestra, but they also have these actors time by time being on the drum set. That's a great skill to have. I'd say, respect. Then they have a son named Elias Burke, and he's played by Todd Allman. He's like in his 20s, and he has a learning disability. But anyway, Elias' performance, in my opinion, was really great. I don't know if Todd Allman actually has a disability, like outside of theater and stuff, but if he doesn't, then I think that he did a really good job, portraying a character with a learning disability without offending anybody. Like, I saw the performance, I didn't get offended, so that means it's a good thing. And then there's like other characters that come on and off and stuff. There's a guy who's a reverend, there's Mr. Perry, and then there's this guy named Joe Scott who's like a former boxer, played by Austin Scott. First of all, he liked my Instagram post on when I was showing my playbill at the theater, so that's pretty cool. Then there's also this other character, Mrs. Nielsen, played by Jeanette Bayardell. She's the one who, I don't know what it's called, I can't think of the top of my head, but like she helps out financially with the guest house and then has an affair with Nick Lane. But anyway, there's one more character who I want to specifically call out. Like, the ensemble was great. There's another character named Dr. Walker, played by Robert Joy. And I personally want to talk about this guy because he narrates the show as he's in the show. And I want to say this, I don't really go to a lot of performances that have like a narrator, but when I do, it's the typical like, on this summer night in 2005, this family, and like, I feel like when they're narrating stuff, like, I feel like it's very showy, and like, you can tell they're narrating just because how they project and how they communicate. With this guy, Robert Joy's performance as the Dr. Walker, I thought that he was not just narrating, I feel like he was just having a conversation with the audience, and it was just being himself, and you know, he's just kind of like, well, you know, like, I haven't seen this guy in a while, and then I just like came to this guest house, and like, it was very subtle, and I felt like it was very realistic, and I just wanted to recognize that because there are certain characters who, you know, are like on their breath, and they're just like being themselves. Now I want to talk about the music because it's Bob Dylan's music. First, I want to say I knew absolutely nothing about Bob Dylan, and yet I still saw the show. I listened to some of the songs, and I realized, okay, I didn't know any of those songs were Bob Dylan's music. Like, I'm just in that generation where I was like, who's Bob Dylan? All I knew about him is that he was a Nobel Prize winner, and that he was one of the greatest artists of his time. Definitely listen to songs such as Hurricane, Ain't Going Nowhere, and To Make You Feel My Love. Listen to those songs. Then I also want to talk about the production itself, specifically the setup and the lighting. In both acts, when they start the show, the house lights are still on, and when they start everything, like, everything starts to like fade on the stage, like everything starts to light up, and then like during the minute of the opening, like, it slowly dims down in the house. Then you're just like pulled into the story, and I thought that transition was amazing. That was a specific thing I want to bring up. Then there's also like the setup for like the theme out in Minnesota and North Country and stuff. Like, I thought it was really phenomenal. They like had everything all set up, and I think they were actually eating food and stuff, which I think that's one reason why we wanted to be on Broadway. If I were on ensemble and they hand me like a piece of bread and like a cup of water, yo, I'm gonna eat it for real. But no, this was like a really well done production, and story wise, I would say that it was really well explained what it's about. And Act 2, there was just, I want to say that there was way too much happening that my brain was like, what is happening? And I'm still, after seeing it a couple weeks, it's like, what is happening? I don't want to overthink about it because I thought this was like a concept musical, but it's like, I don't know. But anyway, aside that, I thought this show was incredible. I would give this a 9 out of... I thought the show was great. I would give it a 9 out of 10. And I would recommend seeing it if you're familiar with Bob Dylan music. Unlike me. Next week, we're gonna have our 200th episode. Wow, that's a lot of episodes. But I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet, so if you have suggestions on how I should do a 200th special on YouTube, then leave down some suggestions in the comments below. And then we may be back with another Broadway review later in the future, you never know. And that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.